The Acer Predator Triton 500 SE was announced late 2021 to serve as a hardware update and design refresh for the 2020 Triton 500. Apart from the obvious design update with the brand new 16:10 aspect ratio display, what you also get is an Intel Core i9-11900H processor and RTX 3080 laptop GPU. That goes without saying. This review came pretty late because of the sample delay, especially when other gaming laptops has started selling their newly refreshed models with Intel 12th Gen processor as well as RTX 3070 Ti and 3080 Ti GPUs. Nonetheless, I'm still quite interested with the laptop and spend some time with it to see what kind of user experience we can expect. I love how Acer has decided to go with cleaner aesthetics for this generation. The Predator branding is more subtle than before instead of in-your-face kind of style. It is as if Acer straight away take their concept-y design, create a laptop, and slap a Predator logo on it. Honestly, I think this is an excellent design. The metal alloy chassis has smooth sandblasted finish and it is the most smudge-resistant laptop. What a refreshing experience, especially right after using the Scar 17. Look, no matter how sweaty my palm is, there's no single trace of oil or sweat on it. In terms of the I/O ports, on the left you will get a barrel charging port, Ethernet port, USB-A with power-off USB charging, Thunderbolt 4 port, 3.5mm combo audio jack. On the right, there is a SD card reader, another set of USB-A and Thunderbolt 4 ports, lastly a full-size HDMI 2.1 port. The variety of port selection is excellent, especially with the two Thunderbolt 4 ports and the USB ports are at least USB 3.2 Gen 2 speed. Opening the lid reveals the new 16:10 aspect ratio display. This 16-inch panel has a Quad HD Plus 2560x1600 pixel resolution. It has a 165Hz refresh rate and 3 millisecond response time. On top of that, it also supports NVIDIA G-Sync. That should add quite a bit of cost to the laptop's final price tag. Coming close to 100% sRGB color coverage, I think this is an excellent display for all purpose. By the way, the hinge can open up to almost 180 degrees flat. The keyboard is disappointing, at least for me. Don't get me wrong, it is a usable keyboard at the very least. But Acer could have done better. First of all, in order to cater to the slim laptop design, they had to reduce the key travel distance. If you are used to those ultrabooks, then it should not be a problem for you. The bigger problems lies with the gap between each of the keys. 5mm is wider than the usual gap, which is about 2 to 3mm. The result is a lot of typos. As for those who are looking forward to per key RGB backlit keyboard, unfortunately for you, you will have to live with this 3-zone backlit. For a 12,999 ringgit laptop, this is unacceptable. The trackpad works well and includes an integrated fingerprint scanner. The glass surface provides a smooth pointing and gesture experience, so nothing really to complain here. Now, let's talk about the performance. It is currently April 2022 when we film this review, and I don't really see any reason for me to dwell deeper into the CPU performance since the 12th Gen Intel processors are here and they are leaving 11th Gen behind in terms of raw muscle power. However, if you are getting this laptop for gaming, then it doesn't really matter because GPU is more important at churning out frames. While Acer Global is offering the Triton 500 SE with two configurations, either a RTX 3070 or 3080, we will only be getting the RTX 3080 based on the available information I could get from Acer Malaysia and their online store. The RTX 3080 in this laptop has a maximum TGP of 110 watt. We compare the gaming test with another two laptops, the 2022 Strix Scar 17 with RTX 3080 Ti 150 watt and 2021 Zephyrus M16 with RTX 3070 100 watt. Unfortunately, we don't have any laptop with RTX 3080 running at 150 watt max TGP, so the Scar 17's 3080 Ti at 150 watt should give you a rough estimation on the possible maximum performance. So, if we look at the game control, generally the 3080 has about 5 to 10% extra performance against the 3070, while the 3080 Ti at 150 watt is miles ahead. As for Cyberpunk 2077, the performance is hardly any different from the 3070. In other words, the 3080 could be limited by its maximum power draw at 110 watt. As for the cooling, I have to admit that this chassis has a pretty unique cooling design. The keyboard has shifted downwards a little bit to give way to the perforations above the keyboard. Basically, the cooling fan draws in cool air from the top of the keyboard there as well as the bottom of the chassis and then exhausts all the hot air out through the vents at the back and the sides. Now the main question, does it actually work? Well, sort of. In our test, we configured the Acer Predator Sense software to extreme profile and then push the games at maximum graphical settings. The GPU temperature is kept at a respectable high 70 degrees Celsius range. I don't really notice if the GPU went above 80 degrees Celsius on average. That is really good. I can't say the same for the CPU because it will hover around 95 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees when you're playing games with the extreme profile. Only if you choose the default profile in the Predator Sense, then it will go down to 90 to 95 degrees Celsius range. By the way, there's also this turbo button above the keyboard to switch to the turbo profile. In real life experience, I don't really see much of the FPS increment, but you get two things in return. Number one, lower CPU and GPU temperature by about 2 to 3 degrees Celsius, and number two, jet engine fan noise. Okay, so to conclude, the Acer Predator Triton 500 SE. There are a lot to like about this laptop. Clean and professional aesthetics, lots of high performance ports, and a beautiful 16-inch display. I know 12th gen is here, but for gaming it doesn't really have that much of the impact when compared to the 11th gen. If I were to complain, I would pick on why Acer would choose to pair the Core i9 and the RTX 3080 110 watt. It makes absolutely no sense, and I mean, at the end of the day, it makes the laptop more expensive for a small margin of performance. This laptop is best to go with i7 and RTX 3070 even if it is just 100 watt or 110 watt. 13,000 ringgit Malaysia for i9 and 3080 is only for those who have extra to spare. So that's all I want to share with you about the Acer Predator Triton 500 SE. Do let me know what you guys think about this laptop, and I'll see you guys in the next video.